I'm Valarie D'Elia. We all know that New Yorkers live their lives in the fast lane, and here at Universal Orlando, they put that concept into overdrive.
So close, this is awesome.
So tell me about like the germ that just sort of started this whole idea for this
Well,
ride.
Jimmy started this whole idea. When he came back to NBC to host Late Night in 2009, one of the first phone calls he made was to our boss, Mark Woodbury, and said, "Hey, I'm back in the NBC Universal family. I would love to do a ride." And we really didn't have anything at the moment, because you have to have a land available and an opportunity available. So one of the first things we did was make him host of the tram tour in Hollywood, our historic Universal Studios tram tour. But then in 2014, we were looking at replacing the Twister attraction, which is where we're standing right now. And we thought, well, that's at the entrance to the New York section of our backlot, so we have a prime piece of real estate. Jimmy had just taken over The Tonight Show, and it took off like gangbusters. And we called him back and said, "Do you still want to do a ride?" And he said, "Absolutely." And 3.5 years later, here we are.
So what went into it? I mean, I'm amazed by just seeing like all the iconic sites. So for a New Yorker to see it, it's really phenomenal. So how did you choose and how did you film it?
Well, it was interesting because, we have a huge international audience here at Universal Orlando, and The Tonight Show doesn't air in all of those markets. So from day one, we knew we wanted New York to be a full-on co-star in the show. This building is at the entrance to our New York backlot, so we thought 30 Rock is the perfect gateway to our version of New York. So we looked at the building and tried to figure out how to put it together in a way that would make sense with the scale of our other buildings around it, because obviously we're not going to build a full-on skyscraper, but you definitely get the essence of 30 Rock. Our gift shop is in Studio 1A where the Today Show broadcasts, so you really get kind of a microcosm of 30 Rock, and then once you come inside, you see all of the Art Deco splendor of that building, from the terrazzo floors to the lighting fixtures. We really wanted to reproduce it down to the last detail.
And how close do you think you came to showing the real authentic New York?
We must have come pretty close because Jimmy, his staff, Tina Fey was here a month ago. They have all gone crazy for the flooring. So we've definitely passed the authenticity test when you've got folks that work in that building every day remarking about how they feel like they came home. And then upstairs, when you actually go on the ride experience, we made very sure that our race through New York takes guests past all of the landmarks they would want to see. Empire State Building, Statue of Liberty, Times Square, the subway system. We really wanted to bring the best of New York to our audience here.
And I'm a longtime New Yorker, and
No.
I feel, yes,
No.
can you believe that?
I cannot. I'm shocked.
And I feel really proud, actually. It's sort of heartwarming to see it. I don't think you meant that to, be a result of how people feel, but I felt that way.
Every day we thought, how would the New Yorkers feel? And actually, that was important to us. And I had a map of New York in my office throughout development, charting the course of the race because we wanted it to be authentic. But then when we got into production of the film, the folks at Industrial Light and Magic would call me up and say, well, this is 4 minutes, right? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, you got them going all over the city. We just don't have time for that. And I'm like, all right. So we started to pare it down. And then I would get periodic phone calls like, yeah, we took another 6 blocks out of Midtown. I'm like, okay, I hope it's okay. But we passed the test with New Yorkers. You didn't notice, did you?
No. Did you have to shut down parts of the city in order to film this?
No, it's all digital. Yeah, we did extensive plate shoots in New York, but then the folks at Industrial Light and Magic built the city digitally because really it was the only way we could do a lot of the things that we're doing. Same thing with Jimmy Fallon. We did extensive live action shooting, but he also had a digital double for things that would be just impossible to film practically.
Did he have a digital double?
Absolutely.
That is very, very cool. And so in terms of the age of people who can partake in this ride, is there a minimum age?
There is a height requirement, but it's not as high, as some of our other experiences, and that was by design too. Jimmy plays to a very broad audience, and it was very important to him and his team to create an experience that would be accessible to the widest range of people. My mom is 72 years old, has never been on a thrill ride, went on this and absolutely loved it, and that was part of the point. Jimmy wanted to be very inclusive and get as many folks from his audience as possible.
And what has this ride done for Jimmy Fallon's viewership of his show?
Well, it's interesting because we've created kind of an outpost for The Tonight Show here, and I like to think that for folks that maybe haven't watched The Tonight Show, or perhaps they live in a country where it doesn't air, they can come here and have a great experience, and they're going to seek him out, even if it's on The Tonight Show's YouTube channel. So I think it's actually going to bring new people to The Tonight Show and create new Jimmy Fallon fans.
So people are going to want to stay up and watch him because of this ride, I would say.
Or they could DVR it, or do what I did and just creep down the stairs and watch with your parents when you're supposed to be in bed.
Excellent. Thank you. Thanks, Jason.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. You're welcome. Well done. That's Travel with Val. For travelwithval.com, I'm Valarie D'Elia.